Hey everybody, I hope you guys are all doing okay and welcome back to Let's Play Siralim Ultimate. Last episode we didn't get that much done in terms of realms, we only did one realm, however, we did get some other major things done. Specifically, we got our first guilds set up, we are on our way to unlocking the remaining 3 guilds. In fact, all 3 of them are in the pipeline right now. Unlocking the guilds themselves, that's a trivial thing. It just takes a few missions to gather the necessary resources. The actual hard part is then doing the things that they need you to do in order to get reputation with them, which is of course bounties to kill false gods, which is basically a whole new type of boss fight that has been introduced to the game, and that's another thing to look forward to, but not for a few floors, because our first boss fight isn't until realm depth 4 to 6. Right, I'm eager to just get going, but before I go, I realize I should spend a few minutes to talk about a few things, to talk about this series, because I realize there are some things that I've kind of not made explicit, and I've kind of just been playing this game taking for granted that you guys can read my mind and that you know like what I mean and what I'm planning for the series, which is a pretty silly thing for me to do. So let's just take a few moments. The first question I want to address is the very obvious one of what is the end goal for this series. And you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I am going to say it anyway. The end goal is to get a 100% level of completion. At a minimum, I want to get all of these achievements. However, I do know there is more to do in this game even after you've gotten all of the achievements. For instance, look at the third from the bottom, Masters. It says we've got 365 out of 1430. Basically, out of the 143 different Masters in the game, to get all of those achievements, you've got to beat them 10 times. However, the actual limit to how much you can fight them is, I believe, 50 times. So strictly speaking, Masters go all the way to 7150, if I've done my math correctly. It's just that you stop getting achievements for them beyond a certain point. And I'm sure there's going to be other things as well. Fighting with the gods, donating to the gods, surely, that are just going to just endlessly, or perhaps not endlessly, but they'll keep on scaling even beyond what the game is giving us achievements for. But at a bare minimum, I want to get all the achievements, but even getting the achievements is such a far off goal that I genuinely think it's going to take years to do. So that's issue number 1, is what do we envision as the end state for the series, is we want to get all these achievements. The second thing is how this series is going to work in terms of recording episodes. The way I want to do it to start out is I want to do regular realms, and I want to keep doing them. I want to do one full cycle of all 30 of these realms. Actually, let's make it 2 full cycles. We'll do 2 full cycles of these 30 realms. After that, we'll start doing random realms. But the thing is, there will come a point where we've seen all the realms, and we've seen all the mission types, and we've seen all the normal types of encounters you can get in realms, where recording normal realms will become repetitive. So just putting out a new episode where all we're doing is regular realms, that'll start to get stale. When we reach that point, most likely we'll transition into a different way of doing things, where instead of showing everything, I will show a compilation of what happened in the 4 realms before, like each multiple of 5. That's where we fight the boss, and then we'll fight false gods at different realms. So I'll be showing compilations of what I got in all of the non-notable realms. Like I'll record them by myself and cut everything out except for the absolute highlights. Like if we get some really rare encounter or some epic GG kind of loot, I'll make special best of the best highlights for that, and then the rest of the video will be the boss fight. So beyond a certain point, the videos will focus on boss fights or other notable things, like maybe where there might be a theory crafting video where we're like if we have a really tough boss fight and we're trying to come up with a build to fight it, interesting things like that, and not just the mundane stuff. But for now, we're early on in the game where the mundane stuff is still pretty fresh, or at least I hope it is. So we're gonna be doing things that way anyway. So that's the plan for the series. In this episode, well, what? See, I've already forgotten. What we did. No, we definitely did the Bastion of the Void last episode. Yes, we did. And we cleared it without too much trouble, I think. Hang on. Didn't we fight the Reaper? Yeah, didn't we fight the Reaper boss in the Bastion of the Void? Anyway, I'm pretty sure our next objective is to go to the Blood Grove, and before we jump into it, of course, we've got to re-roll our item bonus. Are we happy with this? If enemies are resistant to debuffs, I'm gonna re-roll this because trait number 2, less damage taken, that's a really severe roll for that. That's, by the way, anytime the realm property says something which seems like a good thing, it's applying to the enemies. If it seems like a bad thing, it's applying to us. That's just how realm properties work. So less damage taken, that's a great thing, so obviously the enemies are getting that. Less dodge chance, that's a bad thing, so obviously we're getting that. But what I was building towards in when I started that statement was like less damage taken, 49%. That's a really severe reduction on the damage we're doing. And if one of the hidden properties is some other defensive thing, like if they get more health or less defense or dodge chance or resist damage, from experience, I know this makes things a little bit too annoying. So we're gonna do something else. This is also bad because we lose speed. End of turn provoke can also be annoying. Gems sealed after casting is also not my favorite, but I would rather take all of these things instead of us doing that much less damage and potentially even less damage than that. So I think this is how we're gonna do it. Blood Grove. If we were playing the campaign normally, this would be the very first realm we went into. And the god in here is the god of the hunt, Apocrynox, who here is telling us that if we wish to survive the myriad of challenges we'll face during our travels, we must remain ever vigilant, and asking us what he can help us with today. Very, very kind of him. He's a bit of a cool dude. Let's make our donation. And he looks really cool, by the way. Despite him being the first one, you'd think I'd get sick of him, but I just really like the aesthetic. Like even the pose that he's making, holding the bow, like kneeling, one knee, like taking the knee almost. And of course, that wonderful headgear that he's gotten. Even, you know, those arm guards. The loincloth is the only thing, if I had to pick something I'm iffy about, but you know what? He makes it work. I tell you what, those strong thighs. Anyway, before I get too worked up, let's continue onwards. Now, our mission in this realm is to collect firewood and donate it to these people living in these tents. Although, it's not really firewood, because they're asking for construction materials, although I guess once you have wood, nobody can tell you what to do with it. Like, any wood is firewood if you're determined enough to set it on fire, I suppose. Okay, now let's look at the rest of the stat. Once again, there's less damage dealt, which is a bad one, but not a horrible roll on that. They attack 7 times, which could be bad for us. But on the whole, aside from the speed debuff, we're not doing that badly. And the enemies aren't making great use of their first turn advantage, if I'm being honest. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with a punch in the face. And they don't have reflect damage or anything like that. They can't punish us for dealing millions of damage. So, you know, let's take full advantage of that freedom. I'm gonna grab this piece of firewood. Ooh, I'm also gonna grab this piece of squash. There's a nemesis creature down there. I don't know what it was, but the writing on top of their heads means they are a special kind of creature with a special property. So we've donated 1 firewood, but again, before we donate the second one, I do want to do everything else I want to do in this round. Chiefly, I want to find this master and take care of him if at all possible. Okay, you've taken out our Rift Dancer, you've taken out a whole bunch of our people, but now our Animatus has gotten a go. You know what? Let's just do a punch in the face. Hope that because our unicorn is still alive, that it will be able to shut down your attempt at resurrection. Indeed, that's what happened. We get that sweet XP and a loot reward. That's good. That's good. And these traps are the basic favor producing interactable in this realm. Ooh. And this is kind of funny. If you eat enough of this squash, eventually you'll vomit, and then in your vomit you'll find a bit of a few resources as a reward. Oh, it's kind of... I hate these guys so much. The ones on the top right, I hate those guys because they give the enemies the... Well, they have... Well, let me just show you. They have stand as 1 as a trait, which means creatures take less... 50% less damage, and like, even though all of their creatures take damage like 25%, when damage is taken 50% less is just such a horrible debuff. Like, in this case we kind of muscled through them just on the basis of having a lot of damage, but if they coupled that with any other defensive bonus, we would have been really struggling to do any damage to these guys. Right, okay, fine, we can grab this. And we'll go this way, go that way. This is... Ooh, I thought that was going to be our master, but it was just a rando civilian who gave us a reward. Okay. Okay, once again, you know, punch in the face seems to be working so far. So why fix something that isn't broken? All right, we're gonna. This is our master. This is a treasure chest. to the bottom is we're going to be fighting a bunch of satyrs. Before we fight them, let's get some buffs for us, debuffs for our enemies. In fact, let's collect as many buffs and debuffs as we can before we start doing optional combats. I mean, that's just basic prudence. You so-and-so killing my Animatus. What did he ever do to you? Should be ashamed. I mean, they ended up killing themselves as a result, but I still take it personally whenever enemies begin by attacking my Animatus. It's like, how dare you? Out of 6 enemies you could have, like 6 members of my party you could have attacked, you had to pick my main party member. This isn't right. Okay, Berserk isn't great. We could have definitely gotten better value out of these buffs and debuffs than we've gotten, but it's not the worst either. Alright, let's see what sort of treasure we have. Nothing exciting. Okay, I'm gonna pick up this wood, but I'm not gonna give it to anyone just yet. I'm gonna just do a lap of this area. We're not gonna be summoning Divination Candle enemies, because I hate doing that in maps where enemies have a speed bonus. It just slows things down too much, because we've gotta wait for them to act before we can kill them. Especially when they have multiple attacks. See, the second last realm property is they attack 7 times, and the way this game is, well, the way combat is scripted in this game is, even if your enemies have killed your character early, they will continue finishing with all of their allotted attacks, just redundantly punching empty space, and that just further slows things down. And I will not be summoning optional enemies in a map where enemies are gonna be going first and then also attacking 7 times each. Okay. Next. There are no more enemies roaming around on the map. So next we're gonna have to pick some other things to do. What I will do is, let me look at the realm boosts. We have 3 buffs for ourselves and 3 debuffs for our enemies, so that means we need 2 more. Now, one important thing about this realm and a couple realms, so most realms, like a lot of realms, have a thing like this where you enter into a boss fight and then you can't leave until the boss fight is over. Most of them don't have any notable interactable objects inside. However, this realm, Bloodgrove, is one of the exceptions. It has this object, which will... Actually, let me see... go to Blessings of the Gods, go to Apocrynox. Okay, so by default, those mushrooms will give you a buff, but at favor rank 15, they will also debuff enemies. So you've come in here, you've got a boss to fight. Before you fight the boss, grab this to give yourself an extra buff and the enemies an extra debuff. Right, don't just rush headlong into the boss, because, you know, you'd be giving up a potential match-winning advantage. Now we've got this fight, and these enemies are... Okay, that's a worrying start, but they, once again, have not made great use of the fact that they went first. And we might even just wipe them out in one go. Yeah. Easy fight. Easy fight. And what do we get from the left? Nothing. From the right? Nothing. That's okay. Oh! I just grabbed it, you know, through reflex and muscle memory. But after you're done with the fight, all of the interactables that you've gotten, even the random stuff that you would have destroyed that doesn't do anything, it'll respawn, including the mushrooms that give you a buff. So if you still have buffs remaining to get, do grab the extra one on the way out. Don't just run out without picking it up, because once again, why leave behind an advantage that could help you? So now we are maxed out on buffs and debuffs, and I'll just, I guess I'll show you via map properties. It's not, I guess it's arranging them one buff, one debuff, kind of in the order that we got them, I assume. But there are 10 in total, and just... I'm like, okay, now what I want to do is I want to either fight the master or attempt to do the other boss fight. Which you know what, let's do the other boss fight. Then, well, let's grab this freebie that we nearly left lying around. Let's do the other boss fight first. Yeah. And I'll grab this mushroom, I'll grab a bunch of things. The mushroom didn't give us anything because, as I mentioned, we are maxed out on realm buffs and debuffs. Ooh, and this time the enemies couldn't... Perhaps it's because they were trying to attack us and we are all invisible. But it was a bad time for them. They lost... Well, they just lost. They just straight up lost. And as you can see, everything we destroyed is back, including the mushroom. Left, right, nothing. That's okay. That's fine. Now, only thing left is to see what sort of a challenge this Satyr Master poses for us. Okay, so one important thing to note with satyrs is that they will prevent you, well, yeah, this one will only allow enemies to attack once at a time. This one will only allow you to cast spells once at a time. Enemies can only gain stats once per turn. Enemies can only resurrect once per battle. This is a really devastating one for us. Enemies can only heal each other once per turn. Enemies can only gain one buff per turn. So these guys are basically a hard counter. If your build is based around you doing things multiple times a turn, which our build kind of is, but if that is the case, then these guys will really ruin your day. However, we have other strings to our bow, so to speak. What I'm gonna do is, yeah, I'm going to waste my one resurrection because we kind of have to. Oh, we just need to kill one of them. So please just get the guaranteed kill. Okay, this could go really badly. Because my duelist didn't attack the correct targets. Okay. Oh, how close can we get to killing them without actually killing them? Seems to be the okay. We survived because my Animatus had resurrections to spare. That was a very close fight. Definitely one of the enemies that I feel the most nervous fighting. Okay, now that we're done with that, the next thing we want to do is end the realm quest. In fact, I think we can just do it because we picked up firewood, right? Here we go. So we completed our realm quest. We can hand in a Keyforge project, which is great. And now we can just finish up the rest of the thing. Oh, let's punch you. You guys aren't the master satyrs, so even though you'll only be allowing us to attack once, that one punch should be enough. And we get a bit of a favor with the god as well. Don't think... unless there's another one of these, I don't think we'll be able to get the next favor rank. Another heavy, heavy punch. Our Animatus is carrying us for sure. Especially in that one fight, well, the master fight that we just had, where if he hadn't had resurrections to spare, we would have just straight up lost. Now, is there another set of pipes somewhere in this map? No, but there is another cottage where we can make a donation. We've already completed the realm quest, but they do give you some nice loot when you bring them the wood. So that's a good amount of stuff. What do we... I guess I'll grab some of this. And now we're done. Let's take a quick look around, confirm. Yeah, we're done. Didn't quite hit the next... Wait, what's that? Hang on. What's that on the top? Is that something, or... No, it's just flowers. For some reason I thought it might have been like one of those NPCs that gives you rewards. But anyway, we are done with this realm. Let's head back to Siralim. Take a quick check. Yeah, we correctly set the goblet last episode. Alright. Got the Keyforge done, and immediately I say we start another Keyforge mission. I want to stockpile these keys hard. Alright. What sort of time are we at? I think we can manage one more. Caustic reactor is going to be our next objective. Okay, so what? Stats are swapped. This could be bad, but silence especially is a bad debuff, but we don't have like a bad boss fight on this floor. So I think we should be fine. In general, Caustic Reactor is it's usually one of those floors that I don't do that badly on. We'll see how it goes. Immediately, let's go to the god, Venedin, the god of discord. And when they say caustic reactor, they literally mean like a nuclear reactor. So this game blends not just fantasy elements, but futuristic, post-apocalyptic in this sense, kind of, and also steampunk. Like, the realms really run the gamut in terms of different aesthetics, different styles. But anyway, this is a Venedin, god of discord, who says, "Let's cut to the chase. You're here to buy something from my shop? Great. Thanks for your patronage, blah, blah, blah." Not one for formalities, this guy. I like him. I'd also like to donate. Yep, I get it. You've done me a favor, so you'll expect one in return later on. Got it. Farewell. I like it. Just get straight to the point, and we also get straight to the next favor rank, which gives us a small boost. Nice. And also, well, while we're here, it's easier to show you by talking to him. If we look at the list of blessings, on page on the first page, the 20th rank will mean that these valves, which would normally only give us a favor with them when we interact with them, will also give us a buff. That's important, because I don't think there's any other way to get buffs in this zone. Splashing could have gotten better buffs than that. Right, go into this nether realm. Agile again. Not great. Can we... Ooh, two? Three favor. Savage. These are horrible buffs. Berserk. Okay, what sort of things? Okay, they take less damage. There are extra nemesis creatures. They have good luck. fused with skeletons. Skeletons are scary enemies. The stats are swapped means fights are going to be even more unpredictable than they normally are. I'm going to start off with, everyone other than my Animatus is going to start out silenced. So we are even more dependent on my Animatus than normally. They don't have damage reflection, so we don't have to worry about killing ourselves when we kill them, which is good. Okay, let's grab another buff for us. Proficient. These buffs are not what I would have picked had I been curating lists of buffs for myself. What sort of white are you? A trepidation white? I'm feeling a little bit... Oh, blast is garbage. So is that, So is this situation. Now, here's a question. What do? Do we steal their buffs and lose our turn? Do we attempt to attack them? I think what we do is we use our macro. We take advantage of the fact that when our creatures come back, they will no longer be silenced, I hope. And we also hope that this will kill them. Might have worked. Kind of. I mean, we took a bit of a beating, but so did they. They died, which is the important thing. Alright, now, well, let's even interact with these objects. These objects will give enemies debuffs. So now enemies are scorned and weak. Again, could have gotten better debuffs than that. But beggars can't be choosers. Well, here's more debuffs. Enemies have bomb. That's what I like. Burning as well is good. We can find one more. Okay. Ooh, but bomb once again is coming in clutch. And I think that might have just tipped things solidly in our favor. But if we can get one more debuff, like Blighted or, you know, something that's just good insurance. Vengeance, these enemies shouldn't be that bad. You know, yeah, let's just punch you in the face. Okay. Done with you. Now there are no more regular enemies. By the way, this is something I haven't addressed, but once you've interacted with an object, it doesn't matter if you then walk through it and destroy it. The reason this is happening is because of a gameplay thing that I've set, which is auto interact with objects. It just speeds up the game, but sometimes it'll destroy objects, but it will never destroy them without interacting with them first. So you don't need to worry about losing out on realm rewards. One thing to keep in mind though is if you have that setting on, it will automatically open chests. And some chests will be mimics. So the setting will occasionally get you into combat. But for things that are guaranteed to be combat, like this encounter to the bottom, it won't automatically start them. It's only with chests where occasionally you'll get into combat. But it'll never get you into guaranteed combat. Okay, let's get this. Confused is a great debuff to put on enemies. And having put that debuff, what we're going to do is we're going to go into this nether realm. Okay, this is a riddle dwarf realm, which is fine. We're just going to answer some riddles. Once again, I'm going to cheat like a total scoundrel. Let me just open up the riddle answer key, which, you know, I encourage you guys to do as well. Imp Shaman, I'm gonna guess... I was gonna guess sorcery, but it turns out to be nature, so I'm glad I didn't try to do it legitimately. Regalis rules over Arachnid Nest. This is something I know. This is something I actually know. I mean, I should know, what with all the time I've spent in the Arachnid Nest. Frostbite Caverns is Azurel. This is another one that I legitimately know. Tartarith, I think... See, Path of the Damned and Torture Chamber just thematically seem so similar. I know it's one of those, but I don't know which one, so I'm gonna look it up. Tartarith is Torture Chamber. Oh, and when you're in this Nether encounter, don't forget to open these extra chests. In this case we get... yeah, what do we get? Nothing exciting, but could have been good. We can even talk to Ausio, the innkeeper, who says, "Greetings, traveler. Have a seat, grab a drink, take a load off. Always welcome." Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Alright. Let's now decide what we want to do. The order in which we want to do the rest of this realm, I say we do it like this. We grab everything that isn't nailed to the ground before we engage in the remaining optional combats. I'm not going to complete the realm quest before I fight the master, though. Ooh, we get a free card, a Seraph card. Do we get? Did I already have Seraph cards, or is this a new one? It's a new one. Okay. So if we find a second Seraph card, we got the Undulin Seraph. If we found a second one, our creatures would then take 5% less damage, which would be just nice. And because it's a life card, I believe, it gave us a slight boost to the card health bonus we're getting. We're now at 2%. So this realm, even if we fail, has already been great for us. Next up, what I'm gonna do is, well, it's time to go after you. You are the Devil Master. Devils I'm not that frightened of. However, the fact that we are silenced is pretty bad. Oh, they're miscasting their spells because they're confused. Now here's a question. Do we... I say we punch people in the face. And see where that gets us. Where that gets us is it wins the fight for us. That's great. That's one more rank of Devil Mastery, which is fantastic. That means we can also do this. We've beaten the realm quest, and honestly now the only thing left to do is run around, get all the optional combats done. We'll start with the boss fight combats. Who should we attack? How about one of the two enemies that we... By the way, if the text is blue, that means you're weak against them. So let's attack one of the two enemies that we're not weak against. Let's go for the Abomination. A good hit. And this should be the end of them. Corpse explosions are very hard to deal with, especially when they're triggering twice, left and right. It gives us nothing, but, you know, it was worth a try. And even the resources and other materials we're getting, they're still good to have. We will need them. But obviously I want the rarest of the rare loot. I'm just addicted to it at this point. So what's your deal? Death's Head, a beacon. Once again... Ooh, and because this is a boss fight, our Animatus is silenced as well. So we couldn't have cast anything, even if we had wanted to. Reclusive White could be a bit of an issue. But ultimately, we shut down their resurrections quite nicely. Alright, more loot, more disappointment. Well, not disappointment. When things are as rare as cards or skins or nether stones, which we haven't even seen yet in this series, you shouldn't be disappointed if you open one chest and you haven't seen one. Especially in a dungeon where you literally just found a card. I guess the lesson is, I need to check my privilege. Alright. Oh yeah, and these are regular enemies, so they are going to be quite susceptible to the bomb. Unfortunately, this isn't quite the bomb situation that we had in that one run where enemies were just killing each other before we could get to them. Oh! I should have read the text for this, because it is pretty funny. I'll summarize it. So the text, it's something like you find these cute looking slimes, and you think they're so adorable, but just as you're about to pet them, that they attack you, because nothing can never go nicely for you in this game, and that really does sum it up. This game is always trying to murder you with varying levels of efficiency. I think this is a divination candle kind of realm, so let's go for it. We were working on the wildfire Efreet. I'm just going to go all in. Let's go. We'll just do 20 of them this time, because I don't think we will reliably. Yeah, see, we're going to have to defend with the Rift Dancer, and let's see what happens if I skip. Will they kill themselves? They will eventually kill themselves, but we would have to skip our turns. It would be quicker to just punch them with our Animatus, and punching them with our Animatus is quick enough that I'm happy fighting. Ooh. Oh, they're not even reliably killing themselves every time, because this guy survived the bomb blast. Okay. So, yeah, it's fine for killing only 20 of them, but I'm not going to be summoning an extra 20 after that. These guys are going to be fine. If we find the card, we find it. If we don't, that's fine too. Okay, oh, this is a... He cast a really annoying spell, and he did it 11 times. And as punishment for that, he now dies. Hopefully we can shut down this resurrection, otherwise I'll be... They have good luck. I should... Okay. Yeah, if stuff like this happens, it's really going to slow combat down, but you were tough enough to take them down, so good job, Centaur. Alright, come on. I'm just going to punch you and end the combat that way. Yeah, not quite the explosive chain reaction run that we had. Why are they dodging so much? That was quite upsetting. I mean, we still killed them, but I always hated when I dodge multiple times in a row, or multiple times in one, 5-shot volley, 5-punch combo. Alright, another group down. We're getting through these pretty quickly. But it is a little bit too dependent on, who goes first and what they do. So we will leave it at this group of 20. And not do any extra ones. Come on. Where are we at? We've got 10 more to kill. Made pretty good progress. Another one taken down. I mean, in addition to giving us chances of finding cards, we are finding really nice amounts of resources as well. Over 8 million crystal, getting there in brimstone as well. Granite now solidly over 4 million. Energy on the far right is also creeping up. My energy was actually getting pretty low for a while. Oh, God. So long before our Animatus gets to go. But they died, so we do get an unobstructed turn. But yeah, my energy was actually getting really low because I was spending so much of it re-rolling realms and summoning divination candle enemies. But ooh, one thing I should mention while we are on the subject of cards. I'll mention it after we've killed all these guys and right before we leave. Because there is one pretty important thing that I should bring to your attention. I thought about it when I was talking about how my energy was running low, and it's true, my energy was running low until one particular thing that I did. A pretty important thing, which you guys should probably do too if you're playing this game. First chance you get. What is that thing? Well, let's first get rid of these last two Efreet. Doesn't look like we're gonna find the card unless we get exceptionally lucky on these last two. Didn't get it there. And did not find it there. Okay. So, let me show you one thing about my card collection. For the most part, you'll see like I have one card from one set, at the most two. It's in that kind of range. Like this one has 3, a few of them have 3. Usually it's like that, except for one particular set, the Griffin set, where I have 7 out of 8. Now that's not just that's not due to RNG. It's not that I happened to get lucky with this one group. I was specifically farming for Griffins. The reason is, well, read the bonuses you get. At 2 cards, 15% more resources from battles. At 5 cards, 10% more base resources from battles. It might not seem like a lot, but this little boost makes a huge difference. Like I mentioned that my energy was running low, and it had dipped quite a bit below 3 million, well, below 4 million at a point, and it had gotten to the point where I was consistently losing energy over time, especially because I'd gotten really addicted to high item find bonuses, and I kept re-rolling. Sometimes I'd have to re-roll like 70, 80 times in a row if I got really bad luck. And I was really worried that I would just run out of energy at a certain point. But then, luckily, or as luck would happen, that was also the same time that I got interested in looking for cards, and I went online. I was looking for like card drop rate statistics, and while I was doing that, I happened to notice a lot of people were mentioning farming for Griffins specifically. Like a lot of people said, "Oh, this is the first set that that I farmed for when I was able to, consistently fight divination candle enemies." It's like, why are they doing that? But saw what the set bonus was, I was like, okay, oh, I see why, but I still wasn't convinced. I'm like, 15%, 10 resources, does that really make a difference? But let me tell you, it really does make a difference. That small bonus means that instead of, I think the way it went for me was when I got the first bonus, the 15% bonus, then I went from losing energy to breaking even, and then when I got the second bonus, which was the slight increase to base resources, I went from breaking even to slightly improving my energy over time. So it really does make a huge difference. And if you're struggling with resources, I have noticed a lot of people struggling with brimstone, which hasn't been an issue for me, but that's another thing that people are struggling with. There are other monsters which give you increased rates for gathering specific resources. Like, I don't know which enemy it is, but I have another card from a different set where it's like you get more essence. But the thing about, at this point, we should end this realm, so I can show you some other... Is there anything else left to do? Doesn't look like it. So let's end this round. The reason you should focus on the Griffin card set in particular is because you have... Oh, wrong thing. What was that? Oh, this thing. The refinery. You can convert your resources into other resources. So if you're running low on brimstone, for example, but you've got a whole bunch of extra crystal that you're not doing anything with, you can convert that into brimstone, for example, at a 3-to-1 ratio. Not a great ratio, but like imagine all of your resources are now being gathered at a 15% higher rate. Over time, that'll give you a lot of extra resources that you can then funnel into the one that you're lacking. If you have to go that route. Hopefully you won't, but if you do, that can help you out a lot. So anyway, that's a bit of a mini lecture about like something that might help you out if you're playing yourself and you're struggling a little bit with resources. But anyway, I think it's gonna be all for this episode. We got a realm done. That was great. We killed both of the masters in both of the realms. We found another card. We completed both our realm quests. It's just a straight up good episode. Nothing to complain about. I'm pretty happy with it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you guys will stick around for the next episode as well. We are coming very close to 2 tough boss fights. We're gonna have another boss at realm 425, and then a false god at realm 426. So next episode's gonna be kind of like the calm before the storm, because I want boss fights to be their own episode. So next episode we're just gonna do one realm, and it'll either be a shorter episode or we'll spend the rest of it, I don't know, maybe messing around, seeing if we can improve our build, or I don't know, maybe doing some decorations, or just reading through the codex, seeing if we can get some information that might help us in the long. We'll figure something out. But anyway, that's all something to worry about for the next episode. For now, once again, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day, and until the next time, take care.